the real cup, it's not something you have in the palm of your hand and go outside with it. This is metaphor. The real cup, it's within. It's right here. It's inside. So simply saying, open your heart, or just open your cup. We have to understand what that means. First important part is we have to be a good person, good man and woman. We have to be honest and truthful to one another. We have to keep this cup clean. This grace of the Master, Great Master, this is outside of any limitations. This unconditional grace. So we should keep that cup clean. And by that is, we have to be honest, spiritually honest. The seekers of the real truth, not just the seekers of the mind. Seeking from the soul. Seeking from the soul. So I like to explain a few things. To explain, because many of us trying to keep this cap up, but we don't know how. And the key to that, part of the key is unconditional love for the Master, but also the right meditation. Masters, all these masters are speaking about the meditation, Sutra Yoga meditation. So I would like to give you a few ideas about that. How to reverse this cup. Because this is the cup. This is the cup. This is the cup, okay? This is the dome. This is the temple. This is the cup. But when this cup is upside down, if you have a cup and put outside on the rain will flow on the cup, but it will go on the outside of the cup, will not go inside. So this cup here, in fact, it is called cup. In anatomy, for example, it's called skull cup. This is actually called skull cup in anatomy, medical anatomy. But this is the real Dera and the real dome right here. And the real Dera in the pinned body. Please understand that in Sutra Yoga, we have 18 chakras. So when you're looking at me right now, you see the pinned body, my physical form. Within this physical form, there's also another body. And within that, there's another body. So from the macrocosm is reflected in microcosm. God, or if you want to call it that, it also is has the same arrangement, just like you and I. So, there are glands, like in the physical body, there are glands. And there are 6 of them in the pin body. But there are also 6 in the causal body, and there are also 6 in the spiritual body. So if you look at this as a 3 parts, okay. Now I spoke about this before, that causal body we call Brahman, and a spiritual body we call Par-Brahman. Just a different terminology, but I want to start with something a little bit different, because normally we perceive this as a paint or human form, and or anda as a astral form, and then mental form. Okay, but this, from that perspective, this is all within Brahman. Where I'm speaking right now about 3 bodies, I'm speaking about pin body, the causal or mind, and the spiritual body. I address this as a spiritual body, but these are the regions of Mahashunya, Vanvargufa, and Sataloka. These are also represented in physical form of the man. There are many techniques how to meditate. One of the most important parts is to find the center where you are. And sounds, we meditate from this physical form. We all have this pin body physical form. We need to find the center, where the center is. Unless you find that center, you won't be able to do correct meditation. So the great master emphasizes to find that center right exactly of that state of consciousness inside your head. We try to emphasize at the satsangs that the real Dera is here. Instead of having attention on a Dera outside somewhere, like a church, we should have attention here. This is what the Sulshabh Yoga is. So if you want to really follow this path, you have to go with it. The more attention you have outside, the harder for you to really go within, in the sense. Now, most of the seekers on this path, including initiates, they seek outside. Excuse me. They will practice meditation, but they will have no effects. They will not see the light within. They will not hear the sound. One of the reasons for that is because they do not practice correct way. You can be initiated and practice for 40 years, and you will be there in the same place you started after spending 3 hours every day in meditation. I mentioned a little bit about this meditation before, but I do not want to go very deeply in this subject. This is very deep subject, the meditation. But we need to stop wasting our time with our attention. And we have to start really concentrate on this path. Because this life you have right now is incredibly important life. And my suggestion is to everyone to make this the last one. So first, I would like to say that I'm planning to have a workshop. At this point, I'm really planning to have a workshop, probably tied into Bhandara, Mr. Puri's Bhandara on 23rd of December this year. Because I came to a conclusion that there's so many of us which we just like going around. We cannot pierce through this gate to the inner regions, so to speak. Although we are there, we just cannot be consciously aware. So I would like to have a workshop, maybe before Bhandara this year. Also, next few months, 3-4 months, I'm going into seclusion, kind of. I'm going to back to the cave. There's a reason for that. I will still have a satsang. We will still have a satsang every month. But there's some many things on personal level I have to deal with. So I would like to start very gently about the center. What is the center when you start to meditate? There's so many different schools about the different yoga systems. They will tell you this and that. I would like to give you 3 exercises you can try. And maybe one more. Let me see how this goes. Maybe one more. If you look at the human head, like I say, forget about there outside. Forget about going to church right now or temple, okay? This is the temple. And this is the throne. And this is the cup. This is the cup. Everything is contained within inside. Now, when you look the pinned body of physical form, there are different centers right in the center. There's a lot of things going on over there inside your head. So when Master says go within, that is not just some kind of the dreamy state. You just go within and hallucinate. No. Or you go take some ayahuasca and have hallucinations. No, this is not what it is. The pinned body, it's reflected from astral body. And Mr. Puri explained that you can listen to his talks, the 5 senses. He called that astral form. There's another sense there, we call this a 6th sense. This has to do with the consciousness and awareness also, but usually we speak about those 5 senses. These 5 senses are connected to you right in the middle of your head. So when you're trying to go to your astral form across this 10th gate, this is a very specific process. Or you want to see the light, have the experience of light, or experience of sound. All of this is happening behind your eyes. There are 2 physical eyes. So I would like to explain a little bit about when you look in the middle of the brain, either if you just cut the section, cerebrum, if you look right exactly in the middle, there's a gland called thalamus. It's a gland right there. And behind that, the thalamus has the two parts, kind of like. There's like a bridge between. Because every part within the brain, it is reflected as a double. There are two parts. But there's a gland which is a singular. And this gland, some call it a pineal gland. So this gland is behind thalamus. There's a third ventricle right there. And this gland is like two legs from this gland connected to the thalamus, okay? So this is very important gland. And many people who, they were like this agna or ajna, or bindu, like a mark here between the eyebrows and so forth. Called this chakra. If you take the straight line all the way inside, if you sit in vertical, it will end at that gland. And this is very, very important because you're dealing really, when you start this, with physical, with pain body. So we need to understand how this consciousness operates. There's a lot of things going over there, but the pineal gland, it's called male gland, and the pituitary gland is called female. So you have this connection like that between those two. Or if you look from here, from pituitary, goes like that, like this. So we need to, when we meditate most of the time, people meditate, they close their eyes, but they still meditate outside. This is not the meditation in Sutra Yoga. So I would like to do, if you want to do it, just a few minutes, meditation on pituitary gland, and I will explain you how to do this and where it is, so you can locate it within your body. Then I would like to do on the pineal gland meditation, and the third meditation I would like to do is in the connection between these two. And this is not anything outside. This is literally you will do inside within your head. And this is not the process of thinking. This is more kind of not thinking or even visualization. This is the process of becoming aware. And I will not tell you effects of this. You have to discover the effects, what we're gonna do, which means you may practice later. We're just gonna do example, but the effects you will discover yourself. Because if I tell you this and that, you will be pre-programmed what to expect. I don't want you to expect anything in that sense. I will ask you just to be open to the experience itself. So the pituitary gland is You know the bridge of the nose here, the bridge of the nose. So if you follow here, the bridge of the this point here, go straight back. This is the line for the pituitary gland. Excuse me. Now in your mouth, you know the palate, the top part of your mouth inside. If you take your tongue and you touch the top of that palate, and you follow with the tip of your tongue all the way back. And once you do that, you will feel soft tissue. Once you feel soft tissue, from that point, go all the way up. So once you go with the tip of the tongue and you start feeling the soft part of the palate here inside, that is the point when you go up. And another point is like at the bridge going this way. So now you have two lines intersecting, okay, each other. This is the point. Below that point is your pituitary gland. And this is called in anatomy. This is called optic chiasma. In other words, if you look from anatomy point of view, your two outside eyes, your two eyes, the cavity, and they go like on the arc. There's an opening in the back, in the bone, and the nerves go like on an angle, and they will cross inside your cavity. This is what I'm speaking about. This is the optic chiasma. And below that, there's a little cavity in the bone when your pituitary gland is located. Sphenoidal bone, you know. So this gland is not like hanging around, it's like in this little cavity. But during this first short session of meditation, you may do it if you like. You need to go and pinpoint this pituitary gland. So when you close your eyes, you have to find inside where is that located. And this doesn't involve mantra or visualization or thinking in the sense that what and how. Just have attention on it, because this is gonna keep going, this process. So if you want to do this, let's say for a minute, try to locate that. And try to have awareness and feel the sensation. There's a definite sensation. In other words, the attention of Sura in the physical form have on this pituitary body or gland. So let's do this for a minute. And then we will continue. We're trying to find the center where you meditate. I'm trying kind of pinpoint to that. Okay. So let's do this for like 1 minute. Okay, thank you. We're just trying to set the example. I mean, the practice that is the individual practice. So let me go to the next step. The next step is the pineal gland. The way the human body, and there's different chakras, which I'm not going to be speaking about right now. But the pineal gland is located about 2 inches behind pituitary gland and about ½ inch up. So that will be 5 centimeters for those who are on metric, about 5 centimeters behind the pineal is behind the pituitary, and about 1¼ centimeter up. How do you find that inside your head? It's right in the middle. So if you go to the highest point of your head, on the skull, the highest point, and this is totally not the satsang. This is sagittal suture. When the baby is born, when the baby is born, there's a soft spot here in front. Okay, and this fuses itself in about 18 months. And this is called anterior fontanelle. There's other spot here. And this is called posterior fontanelle. This is also soft spot. There are 6 of them. I'm trying to explain something for workshop in December. But this is a frontal suture here. And this is called sagittal suture. It goes all the way like from here to the back of your head. There's another one here. Anyway, but that's not the concern of us here. So on the sagittal suture right here on that, imagine the point. In fact, if you touch here, you will feel very sensitive. This very sensitive point, you may never even discover that yet. It's right here. If you touch a little bit. So from that highest point on your skull, okay, if you from that point, you're sitting upright, it goes straight down. You're gonna go through that pineal gland vertically. On horizontally, if you take, you see my ears here. You see the soft spots on my ears? From this point, if you go all the way across, right here, and from that point, this is where that center is, that pineal gland. I mean, you don't have to, we just starting this up. So this is where that point is. Now see this if you want to know exactly what it is, I mean, study anatomy, medical anatomy, and all that. This is anatomy is most difficult subject to learn according to the doctors. This is just so much. So this is that pineal gland. One line across, not here, not here, not in the middle of the ears, here, okay, right here. It's right in the center of the brain cavity and so forth. And from this point here, I come back to this point at the workshop in December. This is outside of the scope of this, what we're doing right now. So that's what it is. Now, the pineal gland in the physical body is it's very open when the baby is born, for example, and after the baby is born, but then kind of become more and more rigid. And sometimes it can calcify outside. And that calcification reduce your ability, let me put this, reduce your ability of meditation in that sense. So many people will meditate, and they cannot see the light. To meditate and have an experience of light, that should be like basics. But because this connection cannot be made, because pineal gland is there's like looking like inside the fluid and like a little crystals. But when the calcification of it causes reduced ability to see, not to see outside, but to see within. To see within and through that 10th gate. To see within, because look at this way. When you close the physical eyes, that eye start seeing. I'm trying to explain something here. So this is not the eye which is seeing outside. This is the eye which sees inside, within, so to speak. And those nerves from your physical eyes, they go inside and they cross over the pituitary gland, optic chiasma, and they go all the way around to the back. So your brain, two parts of the brain, there's another part here which is called cerebrum, and from third ventricle goes down to the fourth ventricle, and there's cerebrospinal fluid. You know, this is the spine. This is all the Kundalini stuff, all that stuff. But this is not what we're talking about. So your cortex, your left eye. You see me, probably looks like a right, but my left eye is it's connected to my right side, and my right eye is connected to the left side. So when those nerves cross, it's like an X. You know, if you look from the top and you cut the top, you know, it's like an X. So below that is your pituitary. But pineal gland is, like I said, from this point here, all the way straight down. And there's another line from here going across, and that's what it is. or in other words, is ajna or agna, but it's not like on the skin here, or 10 centimeters or 1 centimeter inside. It's always inside there. So if you can do exercise on that, try to close your eyes and find that within your body. Please understand that what we're doing right now, we're going within. In other words, whatever technique we exercise we're doing is behind your physical eyes. I'm trying to teach you not to go behind your physical eyes. They are like a cone-shaped eye sockets. Behind those, okay? Everything is within. Unless you become aware of that, you're going to have a very, very hard time to meditate. And this is a very common problem in people meditating. So see if you can locate the pineal gland. And for a minute, don't try to force anything. Just close your eyes and become aware. Don't start thinking what could be or this or that. Just become aware. Don't have to do a mantra or anything like that. Just try to become aware of the pineal gland, pineal body. Maybe for a minute, if you like, try to do that. Then we go to the third part. Thank you. We're just trying to get idea because the whole show is within my threads. So we're trying to get idea for the Surcha Yoga meditation. The third technique, part of this exercise, and after that I will have to take the break. It's from the pineal gland, we just spoke about. There's a connection to pituitary gland. It's like an arc. So if you place yourself at pineal gland, and then you go like forward, it's about 2 inches horizontally distance, or 5 centimeters, and about half inch lower. What was that? 1.125 centimeter, something like that. So this is your thalamus. This is your pineal gland. This is your corpus callosum. This is your cave of Brahma. In other words, I'm trying to explain something to you. So from pineal gland, you go like an arch, to the pituitary gland. And then you go back. And again, from pineal to pituitary gland, and go back. And again, very slowly. This is gently and slow. So this will be the third exercise. Feel the sensation. Feel the sensation. Try to sit like somewhere straight, up. And so now we get into the tricky parts. So if you're going to have a sensation of falling, something like that, try to have, so if you do, you don't fall on the floor or something. So try to do this third exercise, part of this exercise, going from the pineal to pituitary, like on the arch. In other words, you can start from pituitary to pineal. So if you start from pituitary, it will be like going up, arch. And if you from pineal to pituitary, it will be arch and down a little bit. But on your head, this will go between these 2 points. It's not like all across the head, just these 2 points. So do that for a minute with your eyes closed, physical eyes. Thank you. So I wasn't really planning to do this, but let's do the part 4, and the part 4 will be what she was just doing now. When you do this arch, when you leave, these are the nerves. There's a lot of stuff there. That's like a 5 hours anatomy. A lot of stuff is going on there in physical brain. So when you do this arc, from the pineal to pituitary start moving and stop. I'm trying to help you find the center where you are, okay? The eye. The real center where you meditate from. And this is something you have to discover for yourself. It is not something outside, but it is right there. This is something they try to depict in this different drawings and so forth, the eye. So we're trying to find that, but there's a very specific process going between the pineal and pituitary. The secretions from the pituitary gland. This is secretion which is this very spiritual connections there are. And then when you look at thalamus, I mean, if you really want to find out, you have to study anatomy. But all these five senses from the astral form are also connected there, in the front, in the back, and below, and around the thalamus, which is located. There are two parts from the top connected, and so you have a thalamus here. You have then like two legs, pituitary gland, and then goes down, and then you have pineal gland here, and then it goes down to pituitary gland. So something like that. You can study this on your own if you like to, if you care. But this is the real senses are within the astral form, and what we experience here and outside is just a reduced version of it. Although the astral form is working through your pinned body, your underbody is working through your pinned body. But once you go in this reverse process, okay, backwards, another way of explaining, which is not the case, it's just for the sake of explaining. This will become, the senses, your experience will become more vivid in your astral senses. More vivid, until you pop into your astral form, so to speak. And then your attention will be on the astral senses or astral form. There's another part here, which I will talk about in December. That has to do more with consciousness and so forth. So the third ventricle is right here. This is the third ventricle, and like a tube, like a channel, go to the fourth ventricle, and then goes to your spine and so forth. You see your cerebrospinal fluid, filling these different cavities here. Okay. But the pineal gland is the only singular. Look at this, only singular gland in this within your head. Everything else is as a double, left and right. And if you look at the pituitary gland, go ahead and look on the anatomy, then that's a female gland. This is the pineal is a male, that's a female. Now you understand why. But there's an interaction going on there in the pinned body. So your pineal gland is the third eye. The third eye is not like here, half an inch inside. We call it the chakra, organa, ajna, but it's right in the center. That's why a master, he always was telling you to go into the center. What I'm trying to explain to you where that center really is. And this is self-discovery. No matter what, sooner or later you have to, if you're in the meditation, you have to discover that center and really position yourself from the imagination point of view in the pin body in that center, because this is very specific point within the Dara. And unless you find this, it will be very, very difficult to go the rest. So hopefully we all can find this before December, or if we are going to have this workshop, because this is very important. Because this whole show is inside. Now you can go and concentrate outside, build this, build that, plant whatever, but it's not going to help you. This is the only part of this teachings which is going to help you. You can take that with you. Nothing outside you'll be able to take it with you. But the meditation, it's not just sitting and hoping for the best, or do I see the light, or do I hear the sound, dong, or little bells or anything like, and hoping for that. The meditation is the experiencing this sounds, because this like a vortexes. I don't want to tell you where this exactly are right now. It's like when it goes to the medium, it causes the vibration, and that vibration. Well, let me explain this different way. Let's say you take a thought. When we will go to the medium, it will cause vibration. And this vibration you hear within, inside as a sound. And there's different bodies, and there's different chakras within those inner bodies and so forth. These are these different regions, different sounds you will hear. But the real sound originates here, so to speak. And let me explain something else before we take a break. When baby is born, up to 4 months or so, after the birth, baby is very sensitive and is very connected with this process we're trying to reopen again. So for 4 months, baby is really very aware. That's why this part is open here. There's another part here, there are 2 other parts here and 2 here. They're not fused. They come fontanelles. So one of the reasons is so when baby go through the canal, birth canal, the head can kind of mold itself to the birth, but no, all this sutures, none of this is connected really. This gets fused about 18 months. These about 6 months. These are 3 months. But this is the last one that fuses, so to speak. But when it's fused, your cup becomes kind of like a solid cup. So right now, each one sitting here, a cup is solid, so to speak. Yeah. So what we're trying to do is to reverse this cup. And the reversing is through the process of meditation. But this meditation has to be done right. So this cup has to be reversed within, not outside. We're not taking. So please understand that the blessings and everything flows within. Those are the channels. It's not the rain outside when you're standing somewhere in the field and raining on you and you keep the cup up. This all blessings we're speaking about, they flow from within. So your cup has to be also open within for all this to flow. I can hold this for eternity, it's not going to help me, so to speak. I can go outside and I'm going to collect the rain, but this is not what we're talking about, of course, as you know. So I would like to take a break. And after this, if you have any questions, I have a lot of subjects to talk about, but maybe if anyone has any questions. When you do these techniques, Mr. Puri was speaking about this technique of orange juice. This is technique, you visualize your body as made of glass and so forth, and then you fill with this orange juice. And this has to deal with the pinned body. So he will explain how to fill with this juice all the way up to this level. So all these 6 major energy centers, in other words, from Muladhara chakra, all the way to the this 6th chakra of spiritual life. What we're talking about today, it's above that level of orange juice going, okay? So you may try that technique Mr. Puri was explaining, and there's some videos he explained that. Also great, Mr. Puri will explain the way the Great Master was explaining. He will say, take your hand up, pointing up, and put your attention or consciousness on that tip of your finger. And then slowly lower down, lower down to this center here. Go like this, and boom, jump inside. And then you are in that center. What I'm trying to do today is give you a little bit different approach, but the center is the same. What Great Master is speaking about, and what we're trying to discover the hard way, not the easy way. Not like Master will come and put the finger on your forehead here and just give you experience of the light from that center. We go in the hard way about it because we are all over everywhere, all over the world. But we're also trying to understand from the point of view of the pin body, because the same point also is located within the, you like to call it, all these 3 bodies I was speaking about today, which is the pin body, the causal and spiritual body. And the causal also have an eye, to petal lotus. And the spiritual body also have an eye, to petal lotus, so to speak. So if you want to separate them, I'm not talking about the physical, astral, and mind, the egg of Brahma, or Brahman egg, all this. And then you have a 11th door to Par-Brahman. I'm trying to give idea as the 3 bodies, all the way from the top to the bottom. So the cup, we hold the cup up within. We don't walk around and try to find the cup and put somewhere on the bench and see if it's going to fill up, or hold in a hand. This This grace comes from within. Even great master grace, great master doesn't have a physical form. In other words, Nida Master Puri, they cannot put their hand and give you blessings. If you ever went to the master and give you these blessings, this is the blessing, this is the cup. So to keep the cup up is to reverse that, so it points up. That's why, because we live in, let's say, in this world, and that's why they say, well, when you meditate, to keep your spine straight, vertically, because there's a reason for that too. Not just because of Kundalini yoga, but there's a reason in this fourth ventricle and the third ventricle, how this fluid travels and what that fluid really is. You probably don't even know what that is. Really. You say, well, it's a salt water or something, But to understand how the spirit communicates with the mother, you have to start understanding how this is reflected in the body. So hopefully in December, we'll be able to do this. I personally saying this because of you. In that sense, whoever's going to listen to this, I'm trying to help to find that center. I personally, I'm not seeking none of that. As far as the meditation and all that, this is part of, this is my life past, so to speak. And also the karmic relations, how that really works, we will have to have a workshop. This is very interesting because what do I do about all this? Do I make a choice or something that else makes the choice in my life? Is my life pre-written? From this point of consciousness, we try and go through, the life is pre-written. But once you start piercing, find the center, what we're talking about in the pin body, then you can cross that gate and find the center in astral form. And then you can go and find the center in a causal form, and so forth, in that sense. But the representation at that stage within consciousness, your astral body doesn't look like a physical form, The astral awareness, as projected from that center, so to speak, the astral body look like a sparkling form and generate its own light, so to speak. It's not like you here in front and the sun is shining and you're outside. Over there, this is different. Everything generates its own light, so to speak. It's like a full moon, only a little bit light. There is no sun, physical sun, like here we experience. And in the causal form, it's totally different. Forget about this is the sky of Akasha, they call it. There's like a membrane between, look at this as a membrane between these regions, a membrane around you. Once you pierce this membrane, this hollow, this light around, they show in the saints, try and access that. Once you pierce this membrane is the sky. And this is there's also sky. You're piercing through, metaphorically, all body. And there's a causal sky you have to pierce. And that's the living gate, to piercing that causal membrane, so to speak. We call this sky or akasha. And the color of that is different in that region than even from astral form, because it's like when the sun has a sunset, it becomes, you can look at the sun at that point without hurting your eyes. So this is the color of that sky. Then you pierce through that. There are other regions, and there's some regions of void or darkness. And according to the masters, I'm going to reveal something to you. Believe it or not, some people are delusional, they can cross them by themselves in that sense. And that's not possible. And master, that you can only cross these membranes, call it, with the master. Even through this 12 gate, master has to pull you, because even if you transfer from 12 to 16 sands, this Bhandara region, going from let's say from 15 chakra all the way to the 18 chakra or something, this process. The light of 16 sands, this is the light of your body, is insignificant to the darkness, to the void. The void is so dark that even if your light is like 16 times of as physical sun, it can't go through. It will subdue all that light. So the only way to cross that region is with the help of the perfect living master, who operates from outside of that membrane, in another sense, and pulls you through that total darkness. The Bhandara is not necessarily something you just go around, like a merry-go-round in an amusement park. And this region, these regions below Mahash and all this is great darkness, friends. And to pierce through that, even your own light, we're not talking about light of the astral, forget that. But your light of the 16 suns ain't gonna help you. But some people will tell you, well, that's possible. That is a pure delusion. It's not possible. I'm telling you, this is not possible. And that's what Mr. Puri says. That's not possible. So when they ask, can I do it with a perfect living master? You cannot. This is very hard part to explain to anyone. Because somehow we have this identity of the Godhood. I am God. I am God and all this and all that. We have this delusion of this identity in that sense. In other words, we think we can do it on our own. I'm told to stop at that. But I'll finish a little bit that we need a master. At least I do. Maybe you don't, in that sense. Even some satsangis, they say, the soul comes down if you're already initiated. Don't need a master. Good luck. Thank you, guys. So the master is necessary. And I'm trying to explain you why it's necessary. Is because this final step. This final step between the 15th chakra and 18th chakra, you need the master. You need the master way below, above the trichura, all that. But this is like, this void is so immense, this darkness, that it's like a black hole. It takes all the light out, So it's like 16 suns going into the black hole. It's just gonna subdue all the light and everything. So I wasn't trying to say that, but the master is necessary. I don't know personally about any other way unless you're the perfect living master. And I learned this hard way, in sense, because I spent many lifetimes trying to learn just the basics. I am maybe the slowest learner of them all. And Master told us, right, that we've been waiting very long time for this when we were with him. So please don't be delusional. I'm not saying you are. I'm speaking in general terms. Don't become delusional about all these people and everybody making these different claims. I can do this for you. I can do that. I can tell you your future or anything like that. You know, they cannot do anything for you. Unless they do perfect living master, they literally cannot do anything for you. It's all just it's all illusion. It's all delusional awareness. You need to come across some perfect saint, and he will take it to such count. In other words, he will tell this is when baby is born. But that's for December. I will explain something to you. What happened when baby is born and stuff like that, and all this. Karma, my last subject, I'm done. How does karma fits into all of this? I'm gonna tell you, not the secret, but something else. All the karma, all of it is created by you. You are the creator of all the karma and all of that. Unfortunately, from this state of awareness, we don't see that because we see karma in linear fashion. And we see karma as a Lord of Karma, or Dharam, this, Lord Yama, and all these projections. Just like all these different figures. And in India, there's thousands of them, probably different. Dude, who creates the karma? You, but not from the state of consciousness. Let me explain this. Let's say from the state of consciousness of Sachkhand, of true home. It is all your creation. So it is all your responsibility in that sense too. So do you have a free will? And this may, what do you think? Anyone? Do you have a free will or do you do not have a free will?
We have.
You have? Who said that?
I.
Bingo. You're correct. But this free will does not come from mind. It comes from the source, you as the source or the soul. But generally here we will say we have no free will. Please also understand that from that process we just said, Gunjun, bravo. Because many people will say we have no free will. And that generally way it's explained, but we do actually. But not as Cezary. In fact, the whole experience of Cezary, including karma and all the rest, is created by that free will. But not from this point in the center of my head, or astral form on the center of the mind, or universal mind, so to speak, is from that point, which is also in here represented. Yes, we do have a free will, but when you look in this experience within the Echo Brahma, we do not have a free will. In fact, your whole life, It's already written. From this state of experience and the mind, the whole life is written, pre-written, totally. Even this little shenanigans you try to do, change the karma or this or that or mind or neuro-linguistic programming, everything is already pre-written and everything already exists. All your past, all your experiences sitting right now, listening to the satsang, all your past and past lives and all your future lives, it's already pre-written. Then I'm going to tell you, because it's Bhandara, one more secret. There is no such a thing as time. Time does not exist. There's no time. You experience time within the space, so to speak. But this is the simple attention of Surat. The attention of the soul and the Surat. The whole show is already pre-written. It's set, including the karma, whatever you want to call it, all that. What you're doing, it's only changing the attention. And that change of the attention from Surat creates the illusion of time. In one of the satsang, I said the time creates the space creates the time. But in reality, from this high state of consciousness, there is no time. That concept has no existence. We only experiencing the time because of our attention. Please also understand that you're not going anywhere. You're sitting right now in front of the computer or whatever, you're sitting in front. And you experience that there's something that's happening within the time. There's only a moment in that sense. The Surat, it's attention. And difference between the attention, I'm trying to explain something. It's not exactly like that, because Surat attention is like, but the difference you experience as time. So even your seeking, you experience right now. And what's going to happen in the future, it's already set. Everything is already set. No exceptions. You as a center, don't move anywhere. Do not travel through space. Do not travel to the different planets, anything like that. You always where you were. There is no movement possible within that state of consciousness. That's not possible. No time is possible. And no space. This concept don't even exist in that. It's more like you have virtual reality glasses on you and you're sitting in a chair somewhere. You think you're traveling in some spaceship to some planets or whatever, and something like that. This is metaphor, of course. This is not, that's more millions times more sophisticated, okay? It's like having 400 pixels per square millimeter and having 4 million pixels per square millimeter. Experience will be different. The resolution, so to speak. But you're still sitting in the chair. In that sense, you're not moving anywhere. And there's many levels of that. And to understand that, you can only understand through the experience. If you're going to try to understand through physics, astrophysics, or string theory, it's false. You're not going to get that understanding. A multiverse. You got to give a little bit more credit to creator of all of this. And that real creator is Satpurush, so to speak. It's not the creator as a universal mind, or what we call Naranjanan. Or in the beginning was the God, and in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was of God, and the Word was God. That Naranjan, that's universal mind. So to wrap this up again, I'm trying to wrap this up. This exercise we're trying to do, I explain you in something different way. We're trying to, this is not exactly what we're doing, but this is for the sake of expansion. We're trying to reverse this to the stage when you were born, as a little child, when all of this was open, okay? We're trying to go to that stage between up to 4 months or so after the birth. We're trying to go back to that stage of awareness. That's why in different writings, they say, unless you become like a child, you cannot enter kingdom of God. This doesn't mean you behave like a child or play with toys in adult body. And even Rumi says that your eye has to be, they say that your eye has to be single. And this on the one that's inside. And you have to become like a child. Unless you become, the Bible says that too. There are hundreds of references to this, to the different spiritual paths and religions. Unless you become like a child, you cannot enter kingdom of heaven. And this, there are many mentions in my father's house. These mentions, these are references to these different regions of consciousness. So we're trying to go, to become like a little children, or almost today, go in that state of attention and awareness, to be innocent like the child, innocent within that consciousness. Thank you. I need a 5 or 10 minutes break at least. Anyone who has a question, please stay. Otherwise, we're gonna, end this Bhandara in that sense. The blessings, they already went to you in the beginning. Thank you.